going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode. So today we are in Kyle's favorite room. This is the Venomous snake room. Now, want to tell them what we're doing?
We are working with my favorites, actually, the Elapidate. I have definitely grown to love this animal for sure, the King Cobra. But we're going to be checking out a couple other Elapidate that we have here in the Venomous room.
Every week what I like to do is come into the snake room and I like to clean all the water. So what I do is I take the water bowls out, wipe them down, give them fresh water at least once or twice a week, and then I spot clean and I make sure that there's no no droppings in the cage. I just clean it up, especially for king cobras who have more of like a acidic fecal matter. You want to make sure you get that out rather quickly so that ammonia doesn't build up in the cage.
You just spot cleaning now, or?
Yeah, well, I'll spot clean and then I'm gonna wipe down the bowl.
Okay.
So, and then we'll take them out, do a health check, show you guys an update on how big King Cobra's getting. Because I posted a picture on my Instagram and a lot of people have been asking to see him in a video because he is dramatically bigger than when we got him. So let's see, he's on the opposite side of the enclosure. Now he's very defensive in the enclosure, so you'll see him here. He's trying to bluff me out and be like, hey, get away from me. So what I might do is open up the other side. Usually I open up this side, but we will do it here.
He loves putting up in there.
Oh yeah, he is very territorial with his behavior. So what he'll do is he'll hood up, he'll open his mouth, he'll come at me, he'll go crazy, and then as soon as he's out of his cage, he's like, oh, I'm done.
Is that indicative of King Cobras?
So some King Cobras will be more aggressive, like the one Will has. He's got a wild caught one that is crazy in the cage and it's crazy out of the cage. But for captive bred ones, they're pretty mellow typically if they're worked with. King Cobras do defend their territory in the wild and they are territorial, so it does make sense of why.
He seems bitey too, like he's not just mocking, he definitely...
Yeah, he'll open his mouth.
Yeah, he swings with his mouth open.
Oh, hey buddy. So see right there, he charged me and then he went
back
back.
more, or you good?
You can open up a little more. I should be good to pull him out though. So, you guys will be able to see just how long he is getting. And I want to grab his tail because cobras in general are just a little spastic, even though he's a king. Let's see. Alright, so he's going to go the other way now. The one thing with these cages, I like them, they're super nice. The big ones just tend to stick, like where the acrylic is. They tend to be a little sticky, so that's the only problem with them. So I think we might do some glass to kind of even that up. But see, okay, so he just did a little mock charge there. He did have his mouth open, but he didn't launch all the way. He kind of went back pretty quickly. So let's go ahead and grab him out. Come on, buddy. If he'll cooperate here.
Usually he just turns with you.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Come on, there we go. And he does have a few little droppings in here I'm gonna go ahead and clean up. But see how he's hooding up right there, guys? And he's like, hey, this is my cage. This is my cage, get away. And he's flaring his body around a little bit to kind of throw me off him. But now that I got his tail, I can pull him out. You can see just how big he's getting. I mean, he is close to 8 foot now. I believe he's probably 7'8", definitely over 7.5 foot, but he's getting big. So I'll put him away, and then I'll do a quick spot clean, and then we'll take him out to tell you a little bit more about King Cobra.
Yeah, you can come over and check him out. Get a better look of him.
He is a hybrid or a locality cross between Indonesian King Cobra and a Malaysian King Cobra. Now Malaysians are the giant ones, so those are the ones that will get up to 18 feet long. Male Indonesians typically will get about in that 13, 14 foot range. I'm hoping he's towards the end of that, or the top end of that, I should say, and gets the 15, 16 foot range. That would be amazing. But even if he gets to the 13, that's still a very big King Cobra. So now that we got the water cleaned and he had a couple droppings in there, we cleaned those out real quick. Kyle's gonna go ahead and put King Cobra back in there. That way, because you can get some more experience with the king. Yeah. And that's one of the beautiful things about our partnership with the channel and the animals is Kyle has a lot of experience with crocodilians, whereas I have a few years, and then vice versa with Kyle with venomous snakes. So I'm able to train him on venomous snakes, and he's able to train me on crocodiles, which has been a huge asset for both of us as far as getting more well-versed in the other species. Now what I'm doing is I'm watching Kyle to make sure I can just give him any tips and tricks. He's been doing this for since we've had the king and all the venomous snakes, so he's got some experience now. So see how he's backing up on you?
Oh yeah.
So he's gonna come out and then just hook him in the midsection and grab his tail.
It's amazing for such a a big species, such like terrestrial species, that how well he moves.
Mm-hmm. Well, they're very arboreal babies. Here, watch this thing.
No.
Oh yeah. So when he's wrapping around your hand like that, twist your hand the opposite way, and twist the opposite way now, and you'll flick his tail off you.
It's crazy.
Yeah, because they do have very prehensile tails, which could be nerve-wracking because you have an 8-foot king cobra wrapping your wrist.
Yeah, you see that. What's cool about him too is he knows his spot. So
yeah, so you don't want to just put him there and he'll go back in there.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's good. Any experience you have to get hands-on with one of these animals, you're learning something the whole time. Like for the first time you handled him, I'm sure you didn't expect him to wrap you with his tail.
That was a scary experience. Because again, he's growing very quickly. So, I mean, when he starts to wrap you, and then obviously when you pull and you can pull the animal back, you know essentially it's a pivot point for that animal. But that's where that outdoor area is so nice, just because you have such a big space like this. I mean, even for him, he's a small king cobra, and it's tight. Like, he's not a mamba, you know, he's nowhere near as fast, but he's still a fast animal.
Which we may have some coming in.
There's something coming in. What's next?
So next up is the taipan. Cool. I moved him. Kyle doesn't know I moved him, but I did. So you're gonna reach in where the monocle is now. But what we're gonna do is same thing we did with the king. We're gonna change the water, and we're gonna check. I don't think she pooped or anything because I just moved her in like 2 days ago, so she should be fine. But drastically different than the king cobra, guys. The taipan is a completely different animal, different ball game, fast moving. King cobras and cobras in general typically will hood up and strike down. Taipans can spring everywhere and get you. So on top of it being the #1 most toxic venomous snake in the world, it's also way more agile than anything else we have.
What's the other name for the taipan?
Fierce snake.
Yes. And what's cool about that is, growing up like you, Ryan, not only was Steve Irwin big with the saltwater crocodiles, but I always remember the episode with the fierce snake.
Yeah, the taipan where he's like free-handling out in the outback. And that's probably the biggest reasons why I decided to get the taipan was because of that, and because growing up on that as a child, and seeing it, probably another reason why you want a salty too. It's like Steve Irwin, taipan. So what I'm gonna do is, I don't handle her very much at all. So she's still very much not used to being messed with. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna check under here, and I can see her, and I can grab this. So she's in her winter colors right now. So taipans go through 2 different color phases. This is the winter color when they get really dark, and that's so they can absorb heat out in the outback when it gets colder. And then they go through a summer phase where they turn bright yellow, and that's to reflect heat. So I'm gonna go ahead and take her out. Her water looks good, but we'll just give it a once over. And she's being...
Where are you putting her?
I'm gonna put her right here, yeah. So you stay on this side, Kyle.
And I'll grab the tub.
Yep. Can you take this, there you go. And then you can grab the tub now. And she's got this bright orange belly, which is absolutely beautiful. I mean, this is a very underrated snake as far as looks go. A lot of people love them because of just being the most toxic snake in the world, but they're a very beautiful snake too in their own way.
Can you hold her up so we can see the belly?
Oh yeah, here, you can see the belly, guys. I mean, that is a gorgeous snake. Now watch out, Julia, because they are very quick.
Okay, all good.
We're all good? Okay, now I'm gonna move her to the side, and give me one second.
Yeah.
And now what I'm doing is, when I tail her at this size, I don't really want to, so I'm not putting that much pressure on her, just enough to kind of keep her in place.
All right.
As you can see, she's coming towards me, but they have a nasty habit of flinging themselves. And now she's under the board. So I'm gonna get her out of here. Actually, what I'm gonna do is take this, and then we'll see where she's at. Okay. And she went under there for some security. Gave her a place to hide.
Grab that?
Yeah, grab that, please. And she is very small. Taipans aren't a very big snake species. She'll probably max out around 5.5, 6 feet. At this size, though, they are pretty hard to handle comfortably, because they're just so small and can literally fling themselves on you. So I'm gonna put her back there. And there we go. So there is the inland taipan the most venomous snake in the world. Very misunderstood though. There's been, I don't think any fatalities from them and very few bites because where they occur, there's not very many people. And as you can see, that's a baby. This is the most skittish they're gonna be, super defensive. And if you're calm with the animal, you move them around and you don't make them think you're gonna eat them. As you saw there, she didn't open her mouth once. She just kind of went with the flow.
How large do they get?
So 5 to 6 foot. Yeah, 6 foot would be a big type cat.
How thick do they get as well?
Oh, they get girthy though. They'll get probably like that thick.
Is it similar to like a rat snake or an indigo snake? In that regard?
Closer to a rat, in between rat snake and indigo. Not quite as girthy as indigo, but definitely bigger than a rat snake.
Yeah.
So next the final lapid we're gonna bring out is the Siouxpan monocle cobra. And she is getting quite large. So grab her out and we will do
She's
this.
in there?
Yeah, she's in here now.
Okay.
So we're gonna put her on this, and with her, she's a cobra, she's a little bit easier to handle. And Kyle, you wanna grab some gloves so you can clean this a little bit?
Gloves as in
Like the rubber gloves.
Okay.
So here she is. Here's the Siouxpan monocle cobra, and she is a lot larger than last time you guys saw her. So like Kyle's gonna do, he's gonna clean out the water. Unless you actually, do you wanna handle her? She's not bound at all.
Sure.
Okay, so you can handle her.
I'll work with her.
She's very huffy puffy, but she's all bark. And
Do you want to put them on this or just keep it?
the only thing with that is there's the holes in the tub, so they kind of will go down. I mean, you can even handle her on the ground, actually. Maybe that might be easier.
Yeah.
And then one thing with monocle cobras, guys, and I'll tell Kyle this too, they have a pointy tip at the end of their tail, and she will stab you with that, so just don't freak out. Do you want a longer hook, or are you good with this?
What do you got? You don't have anything.
I don't have anything in between right
That's
now.
fine. That's fine.
Okay.
I'll just kind of direct her.
Yeah, she's pretty good.
Cool. And what morph is she?
So she's a Siouxpan. So it's actually a naturally occurring locality.
Okay.
And there's debates on whether or not that they're a subspecies, which would be Naja Cuthia siouxpanensis, but they're not a confirmed subspecies. So they're still Naja Cuthia.
And we named her Naja.
Yeah, Julia named her Naja. What do you think of her, Kyle? I mean, you're starting to get more experience now with different types of venomous snakes. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's funny because like I've certainly had like a couple nightmares ever since we've had cobras. I've certainly had a couple nightmares of like getting bit by a cobra. It's always a cobra, even though I love cobras the most. Maybe that's why. You know, I've never had any nightmares of getting bit by crocodiles, but I don't know about these cobras. But I do love them. I like the smaller ones, like that king cobra. It's a lot, especially in here. But obviously, once we're able to work with them again out there, we'll get rid of the chickens soon, and then we can work with them out there. You know, I'm looking forward to that. But you know, I have a ton of respect for venomous snakes, especially just because if you make one tiny little mistake, it can cost your life.
Exactly.
Crocodile's a little guy. You know, yeah, he may bite you, but I mean. And it could get infected, it could become septic, but the chances of that are far, far less than a wet bite from a venomous snake.
And one thing too, I want to address this. I've seen it in the comment section a lot. People saying like that my lapids are super mellow, or even all my snakes, my venomous. I've seen a few comments be like, "Oh wow, you have the most venomous or calm venomous snakes on YouTube," or that they've seen. So it's all about how you handle them. See how Kyle's not over the top of them. We don't pull them around and manhandle them. Just super gentle with them. I mean, this cobra, as you saw when we first opened the cage, she's a little defensive, like, "Hey, what are you doing?" But now she's in a big open room. She's very vulnerable here, but she feels comfortable and confident with us to where she's not even hooding. You can see her tongue flicks, short tongue flicks. That's just her being curious. Long tongue flicks from snakes will show that they're agitated, but the long ones are what we really look for. But the short, little, consistent tongue flicks means that she is comfortable and confident. Stay tuned. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, follow us on Instagram, and we'll see you on the next one.
See you guys.